You know, the holidays are full of excitement for many, but it can also be a tough time for some, especially those dealing with loss.
And that's why KVUE hosted a mental health roundtable with folks from Integral Care, the local mental health authority. Here's KVUE's Molly Oak.
First, we want to say there are going to be some tough topics that we talk about today, so just fair warning, but the whole point is we want to be able to talk about these things because that's so important.
I think during the holidays, we're in this time of year where we have this idea of how we should feel. You know, that's a word that I think we have to be really careful with. Anytime as clinicians, when we hear that word should, we stop for a second and we think about that, right? Because there's an expectation there. And oftentimes that's not going to line up with how we're actually feeling. And so I think it's really important for us to think about that and to recognize that how we feel may not line up with how we think we should feel, and that's okay. You know, that's normal. The best way to navigate that is to talk about it.
And I know a big thing that's been hitting headlines that I'm sure many of you have probably seen, I know you all are quite familiar with, is we've seen an increase in overdoses the past year. Kat, I want you to talk about this. It's not only drugs, I mean, there's other substances involved as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, recent data came out that in a 12-month time period, over 100,000 lives were lost to overdose, which is actually a 30% increase from the previous year. And it's the highest increase that we've ever seen. You know, specifically in our community as well, we've seen an increase in overdoses with over 500 overdoses identified. So absolutely, you know, this is something that is impacting people. And, you know, the impact of this ongoing trauma has been significant.
And with that, it leads us to death by suicide. That's something no one ever wants to hear about. I mean, just hearing the numbers that you were saying makes me kind of choke up because it's heartbreaking. Marissa, talk to me about that. You said attempts have been on the rise as well.
Yes, attempts have been on the rise. Individuals reporting thoughts of suicide have also been on the rise. We've seen, you know, nationally increase in suicide attempts, suicidal ideations, despite a slight decrease in completed suicides.
David, I want you to talk about how it's best to not only help ourselves, but also help other people.
You know, I think sometimes we can overcomplicate some of the solutions at times, and I think it's really important for us to be simple in terms of how do we take care of ourselves and what kind of strategies are going to work to help us improve. But it all starts with talking, right? This is how we kind of move forward with any of the challenges that we're facing. So at first we have to acknowledge the challenges within ourselves, and then we have to talk to someone.
I want to thank the three of you so much for opening up this conversation and giving us so many great tips. Of course, we will have that helpline for you up here on your screen that you can see right now. And of course, we have a list of resources for you on kvue.com/mental health.
That's KVUE's Molly Oak. Molly, thanks so much. You can watch that full roundtable discussion again online at our website, kvue.com. Now, if you or a loved one needs help or just needs someone to talk to, you can call Integral Care's 24/7 helpline. That number is 512-472-4357. We also have a list of resources online at kvue.com/mental health.